Did you know that a great entrepreneur requires to learn, strategize, make great plans, reinvent at the same time? Unsure about your next steps? Well, today's show is going to give all these queries a great wisdom. So today we are going to be talking about 5 skills that my beautiful women entrepreneur friends today have mastered in their women entrepreneurial journey. So today, let's begin our journey by calling all these 4 amazing divas and let's learn from them. Let's have some great fun and bring a lot of knowledge and wisdom on the floor out here. Thank you very much. My name is Nirupama and today I am super thrilled to call all my friends. Yes. So I'm here today to really invite all my friends here who are going to be talking about the 5 skills that they mastered as women entrepreneurs. And let's hear from them. What is that one word that is coming to them right now, as we start this show? Yes. Any one of you, please let me know.
I'm all excited. I'm so excited to be here.
Susan is excited. Awesome. What about you, Kirti?
I'm very curious to learn.
You're curious to learn. Awesome. Raina, what about you?
Absolutely magical. Looking forward.
Let's create magic. That's what is the intention. Premsai, over to you.
I'm blessed, and 2 words, blessed and gratitude to you and to all the viewers and to all the women out here.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for being of so much support. And as a brand ritual at Sambhav, we always start these Sambhav Talks with some music, with some fun. And that's exactly what we are going to be doing. I'm going to bring some music on the screen and we're going to have some good fun on your favorite numbers. Let's do it. Are we ready, everyone?
Yeah.
All right. So let's just bring some good music and here we go.
I'll smile, I know what it takes to fool us down. I'll do it till the
I would want all of you out there who are listening to us, just have some good fun.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what you wanna hear. Keep my sunglasses on while I shed a tear. It's never the right time. Yeah. I put my arm around so you are strong, I am. I put my arm around so you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm a virgin with no brakes.
Awesome. So thank you for being there. Thank you for being of support. And let's not forget our viewers, who have taken out the time to come and hear all of us. So today I would want to know from the viewers that which city are you logging in from and what is it that you do? Please put it in the chat section so that we can take your specific questions, specific queries, and we are going to bring a lot of value. I'm going to tell you that we are going to take this show to the next level, and at every stage that you'd be finding that all these amazing divas would be empowering you, would be giving you lots and lots of values. So let's do that, and let me bring my first panel out here. So in my first panel, we have Susan and Premsai. Premsai and Susan, are we excited to really start this first panel? Let's do that.
Yes, absolutely. Let's get it.
Awesome. But before we move ahead, Premsai and Susan, we would really want to know about you. The viewers out there would want to know the experience that you come with, the kind of amazing work that you've done. So let's hear from you, Susan. What is it that you bring to the table?
So I'm a fairly new entrepreneur. I'm not, like I said in my video, right? I'm not a fresher, but I'm a fresher to being an entrepreneur. And but I have years of experience, 28 years of experience in the corporate field. after which I am an entrepreneur now. What I do is I'm the founder of Goodness Project. Goodness Project is a natural skin and hair care line with sweet smelling, luscious butters and oils which are made to pamper you, make you feel good. Now, I see all the women smiling and thinking that, hey, this is for me. It's not. This is
I
for
want
men.
it.
It's for men. So I'm here to make men feel good about themselves, because I think in all our endeavors for inclusivity, we've forgotten that we need to include men in skincare, which they're not doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And why should women have all the fun? Let the men come on the forefront and show their glowing skin and luscious hair, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So let's just hear from the audience. Abhijit says he's from Jaipur. Another person from LinkedIn says, I am from Mumbai and an HR solopreneur. More power to you, Raina, Kirti. Looking forward to an engaging conversation. Absolutely. We too are looking forward to it. And all of those people who are listening to us, please let us know in the chat section where have you logged in from. As I call Premsai, and we hear from her. Yes, Premsai, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Nirupama, and I'm glad that that we are here today. So I'm Premsai Samontoray, and I'm the founder of Enhanced Life Skill Clarity and Focus Coach, leadership facilitator, and emotional intelligence specialist, a hypnotic cognitive coach, and a yoga practitioner, and artisan of Vipassana meditator. I'm a mother of a teen and a wife, sorry, wife to a IT professional. And to all these roles that I would say that I'm thriving in all its glory to live all this role to the fullest in my ecosystem, to the
Yes.
best of my being, and helping my client, working professionals, leaders, founders, entrepreneurs, to help them gain clarity and integrate focus so that they live a meaningful, significant, and fulfilling life, giving success, having success and productivity without stress and burnout. And my clients testimonials always talks about that. That's how I create the shift using NLP tools and techniques.
Wow.
Because I have heard it in a very difficult way in my journey.
Yeah.
And that's how I bring it to this conversation, to all the viewers, so that I can create value, add value to this conversation. Thank you.
Awesome. We are looking forward to that. Whatever has been earned very hard by Premsai, she's bringing it with a lot of ease and a lot of purpose for the team out here. So all the very best. As I welcome Dr. Seema Tawri, who has joined us from Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. So good to have you, Dr. Seema. So people, please let us know in the chat section that what is that one skill you feel it is important for women entrepreneurs. And I run out a contest out here. Let us figure out that the skill that you are talking about and the skills that our panelists have to say, are they matching? I mean, that's a contest that I want to roll out today. So please let us know in the chat section that which skills are important for women entrepreneurship. All right. So, Premsai, my first question to you is, at this moment, a lot of us, whenever we think of starting a business, we are thinking of, acquiring the skills in the external domain, what is it that I can build on? What is it that, what is the latest trend that is going on? But how important it is to work on yourself as a person, working on yourself within, because you magically talk about some 4 rooms,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I am actually looking forward to that, because that's a very interesting conversation. So I would want to know from you how important it is for us to work, within before we really work outside. Over to you.
Absolutely. And as you started and you said it, Nirupama, that in is the only way out. Even Sadhguru talks about that. I mean, I would like to give an example of Google Map. So
Yeah.
whenever we plan to go somewhere and we do not know the roadmap,
Right.
then we put that address in that Google Map, right?
Yeah.
And the map first tells you where you are now
Right.
and where do you want to go.
Absolutely.
So it's very important to know where you are now. And to that USP that you talked about, my USP, renovate all your 4 homes.
Right.
So what are those four homes? Those are body, mind, emotions, and energy.
Okay.
Because these are the four homes that we would be living in these four homes till we live on this earth.
Totally.
And
All.
even if you taking another metaphorical example, which is related to traveling, that is a car or a bike, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see a car, even if you have a high-end car, you have all the engine is working properly, the car is very good in everything. Where
Right.
do you get that engine or the lubrication? Where you would you get that fuel? And
Fuel,
that's
yes.
yeah, and so that's where renovating all your four homes comes into picture, and looking deep within, what would
Mm-hmm.
help you is you will get to know where you are. You will get
Uh-huh.
to know where exactly would you like to go. So we at times, being an entrepreneur, we may not know when we
Mm-hmm.
start our journey. We may not know exactly that what exactly we want to achieve, and
Mm-hmm.
that's okay that at least you should have a direction.
Right.
Even when we started our journey, even if I talk about myself, I was not very clear about my niche area, being a
Nobody
client.
is.
Yeah,
Yes.
suddenly I understood and I knew about that. Okay, this is the direction that I should be going. So
Yes.
if you want to go to Bangalore, for sure you take that route, not
Right.
another route which would take you somewhere else, and then you get
Yeah.
surprised that okay, अरे ये मैं कहाँ आ गई.
मैं तो
So
दिल्ली पहुंच गई.
and that's where when you go deep within and renovate
Right.
all these four rooms, then you get to know where you are and where do you want to go, that direction. And when I say renovate your body,
Mm-hmm.
what happens is our body is a machine, we all know that,
Uh-huh.
and it has to function in a certain way that when you reach your success,
Right.
you should be able to consume your success rather than your habits are consuming you.
Wow. That's a big takeaway.
Yeah, and that's where body, and then whatever you like, you love to do, play, do some exercises. It could be yoga, badminton, or anything for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Do something where your body gets moving.
Mm-hmm.
And the second, when you talk about body, so this is something which is a very deeper aspect of topic, right? So when we talk
Sure.
about eat right and sleep and all that stuff, when you talk about mind, and this is one of the most ignored aspect of homes, जिसको हम लोग अच्छे से भी ignore like anything,
We
right?
put it under the carpet. क्या जरूरत है?
And the reason why is the symptoms are not shown. It's not visible.
Right. Right.
It's not visible. And that's where we neglect and we do not, and we think that escaping the mind and going somewhere else will help you to feel better. Yes, at
Right.
times it helps.
Right.
Movie chale gaye and you go somewhere, that's okay. But then the inner child is crying. Even if
Mm-hmm.
you come back, the inner child would be again crying and you would be listening and you will not be feeling great about it. So
Absolutely.
mind is very important. When we talk about mind, it could be decluttering the thoughts, how to process the thoughts, how to process the
Mm-hmm.
emotions, and all that stuff comes into picture when we talk about mind. And the third one is the emotions. I mean, ये तो सब कुछ है. The way we feel, because our emotions, our decisions are driven by our emotions.
Totally.
Yeah, and we do not take decisions by just listening to the data. You
Not
feel
logic at all.
so you feel something and then you take those decisions, and in that context emotions plays a very important role. And when this mind and body, mind and matter का जब जुगलबंदी होता है, then that's emotion is the main
Driving factor.
driving factor. I give a lot of metaphorical examples, so that's a tadka actually.
Oh.
So that's there. And when everything is going fine and then you get your energies, whatever the energies that you get from there, you should be knowing about how to use and channelize that energy in a certain way. Like
Absolutely.
you might have heard about we are also mothers, we at times discuss, and I have heard a lot about that. My son or my children are very hyper active. Now the
Mm-hmm.
energy is very high, and if you know how to channelize that energy in a right way, and that's where you get your results. So renovating all your four homes, not waiting for Diwali to do the safai, rather than at regular intervals, you need to look at these four homes and see what
Right.
can be done. And it's a journey. It's not a sprint race. It's a marathon. or the entrepreneurship journey itself a marathon, and you need to really build in day out, have some rituals, conscious rituals.
Right.
That is where you can build upon. So looking within, and when you know yourself, through you will know others. Through you will be able to network better. Through you will be able to understand and make decisions in a better way.
Totally.
You will be able to also understand your boundaries. Very, very important. Being
Yep.
human. Because there are a lot of roles that we play, right?
Sure.
And we need to know that कहाँ पे कौन से role को कितना, to what extent you need to really nurture or give importance to. You cannot be always looking after career and then ignoring the other roles. There has
Totally.
to be a balance, right? Remember the example of a car. There has to be a balance of all the four wheels.
They have to be in alignment. Totally.
And that wheel, if one wheel says that okay, just give importance to me, then the three wheel, it is going to show up, and you're going to really have a big time later part of the life. So
Totally.
these four homes will help you to understand where you are now, where do you want to go, and then what is the gap and what you can do about it.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
So we have spoken about the body, mind, energy, and emotions. And Premsai, you beautifully mentioned here that somewhere business is not a sprint, rather it's a marathon. और मैं जब अपनी मैराथन ट्रेनिंग करती थी तो मैं एक दिन में कोशिश करती थी 10 किलोमीटर भाग लूंगी, 15 किलोमीटर भाग लूंगी, and I did run sometimes, but the next day I used to be falling on bed, So this actually brings me to my next question to Susan. Susan, as we know that entrepreneurship is not a sprint and it's a marathon, and we need to have that long-term mindset, in place. So what are the skills that you would talk about to the viewers? As Shalini Singh says that for me, the first skill that I want to learn is leadership, So what are some of the skills that Susan, you are going to talk about that would really help our viewers look at entrepreneurship as a long-term game and not a short sprint? Over to you.
Thank you, Nirupama. Thank you for having me here. So, like you said, it's not a sprint; it's a marathon. It's not a destination; it's a journey, right?
Totally.
So the journey is what matters, and as you go along this journey, there are going to be ups and downs, and the skills that you actually gather, the things that you learn, those are the ones that are going to hold you in good stead. And we spoke about this. Oftentimes, a lot of us small entrepreneurs, we are solo. We're doing this alone. Many of us are running it out of our homes.
Right.
Women especially juggling a whole lot of other things other than the entrepreneurship. But
Sure.
for an entrepreneur, that's the main thing. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're living, breathing, eating your venture. There's nothing
Totally.
else. Oftentimes other things seem like a distraction, and you're waiting every moment to get back to it. But what happens when you overeat and when you overdo something? At some point, you do get tired. And the key in this is when you do get tired, you take a rest. You take a rest, you recharge yourself, use some of the areas that Premsai spoke about, right? Go back to your old routines, do things which help you calm you down, recenter yourself,
Right.
recharge yourself by doing routines that help you to recenter yourself.
Yes.
Right? And it's important. And for each person, it depends on how long the break may be. In a day, you could take 4-5 breaks. Sometimes in a month, you could take 4-5 breaks. But
Understood.
it depends on each and every person defines that by themselves as to what my break period should be. How much time do I need to recharge myself, to pull myself together, to start again on this?
Totally.
And that brings me to another key skill, which is resilience, right? So resilience is what will help you pick yourself up every single day and get back in the game.
Okay.
Sometimes it's like, to take analogies again, right? It's like you have a pain in your foot. Doesn't mean you stop walking. It just means you adjust how you walk and you keep walking. And every single day, getting up and putting one foot in front of the other is resilience. That is where you are able to get up and do. It might knock you down. It might, but you've not failed if you've gotten up again. So
It will
failure,
rather keep you moving.
yeah. So, and sometimes you just, it's not, like I said, it's a journey. Doesn't mean
Totally.
every day you have to reach some new milestone, you have to keep charging ahead. It means that so long you're taking even one step in a day in the right direction, or you're thinking of moving in the right direction, also that itself is movement. So don't, I would tell everybody who's planning to be an entrepreneur, don't put stress on yourself that this is where I need to be 1 year, this is what I need to be doing, and I have to charge towards that. It's a journey. And every single day you're moving in the right direction. That itself is the success you need to measure yourself by,
Yes.
right? And adapt to the situations that come up. Every day it's going to be different. Today your client wants something, tomorrow your client doesn't want it.
Yes.
And I mean, all of us small entrepreneurs, we know, client is king, customer is king. You ultimately do things which you get more customers for. And this is another advice that I would like to give all entrepreneurs, small and big, which is that know your customer. Knowing your customer is absolutely critical, because
Totally.
that alone helps you to go in the right direction. Figure out who you're making your product for, who you're making your service for, what is it that that person is looking for, and then customize it for them. And that's how you will be able to keep getting new customers, because when you know whom you're doing it for and you're adding value to them, then ultimately, you are moving, you're going to be moving forward. Many entrepreneurs
Absolutely.
make the mistake of having a glorified idea in their mind and saying that, this is what I'm great at, this is what I can do, and this is what I'm going to do. So everybody should buy it because, I think it's great. But you'd be surprised, most successful entrepreneurs actually are the ones who are solving a problem for their client or their customer.
Yes.
Right?
Lovely.
So, yep, that is what I would advise people. The journey is long. Keep iterating. Keep pivot as often as it needs to. Ensure that you're adding value to your customer. Don't quit. Rest if you must, but don't quit. Keep moving forward every day, one step at a time.
Beautiful. What a wonderful idea. Rest. Do not quit. Rest is never, quitting. And sometimes, we don't give ourselves that kind of rest and we are moving from one task to another, one opportunity to another. So my next question is for Premsai. And Premsai, I would want to know from you that, as entrepreneurs, we have multiple projects on our table and we say that entrepreneurs are jack of all trades. So how do we realize, what projects to pick? What are the projects that, we can park for in the parking lot for some time? Since you're a clarity and focus coach yourself, so we would want to know some tangible steps, by which we can really understand what to focus on. As women, we talk about, we have multiple roles. We'll be doing multiple things. So I would want to know from you, how do we, choose what to pick? And before we actually let you answer the question, there is this one question for the audience who are listening to us. We would want to know that what are some of the ways by which you rest? Please write down in the chat section what are some of the ways by which you take rest, because the people who are participating in this talk till the very end, you people would be sent a very special prize. So make sure you become a part of this contest and keep telling us your learnings and some of the questions that we are asking you. So Premsai, over to you. How do we really get that kind of clarity, to really understand that what is the thing that we should focus on?
Yeah. So the way I do it, I'm going to share that. I emphasize more on manual writing of the things that we need to do, and categorizing it into the task that can be done immediately, and the task that needs you can address maybe a couple of weeks later, or maybe the next month project,
Yes.
or it could be something you are planning to start but you have not figured it out. So that you can keep it somewhere in the project that needs thinking, in that
Yes.
category.
Yes.
So in that way, first, so I would like to give a context here, Nirupama, to all the viewers and listeners. Is our brain functions in a certain way, and
Right.
we have a working memory, a working, you can say, metaphorically, you can think of a container,
Uh-huh.
and that container has a limitation for a particular day.
Sure.
So you need to know that what are the things and stuff that you need to put in that container for that particular day.
Whatever it can hold for that day.
Yes. So
Okay.
that we call it as a working space, or
Okay.
in a term, we call it as a attentional space as well.
Okay.
Now that attentional space, now the way, a few more contexts I'm going to give you here is, your habits may also at times consume you if you are not very self-aware about it. Like for example, when you wake up in the morning and you just start, with your phone. So
Yes.
you are putting that particular task in your attentional space in that container. Remember, we talked about that.
Totally.
And then that's where the memory, it will take some space from that attention space, that container, right? And
Yes.
when you are ready for your main task, then you are feeling overwhelmed, or you may be feeling a little distracted by the task which you have already started, but it has no value for that particular day.
Totally.
So that way, when we understand that this is the way our brain functions, we can actually understand with our RAM, random access memory, in our laptop, in our computer language. So in that way, you need to find out that what are the things or projects I need to really address for today or tomorrow, or maybe for a week's planning,
Sure.
for that matter. And manual writing is, it has helped me a lot. You can also use technology and all those notes and all those stuff, and you need to figure it out that at least not should it should not be more than 5-6 items in a day where you need to write down. And if at all, it can be a bit size of that main task. So you need to really, segregate it into an actionable task, which you
Okay.
immediately do it, and that you need to take it out from the main
Okay.
and focus on that. So you got a clarity that when to do what. And at times what happens, our brain, we call it as, if see, for example, when you do not finish a task,
Okay.
and if you have not planned it, you have not written it somewhere, it may bother you again and again with the thought of that, oh my god, that task is unfinished, that task is unfinished. And we call it as an open loops.
Right.
And these open loops really makes your life haywire when you hit the bed.
Totally.
And when you relax, these open loops will come and talk to you कि इतने सारे काम बाकी हैं, just you have not. So that's where when you write it down somewhere saying that I am going to do it tomorrow, I'm going to come and address you tomorrow, then your brain, it's kind of, you're faking, you're kind of hacking your brain, saying that now you rest, as
Yes.
Susan said, rest. So you'll be able to rest properly.
Totally. Yes.
Then your brain
Absolutely.
will say that, okay, ye banda, this banda is going to go and address that tomorrow at that particular time. So that's
Yes.
how you prioritize your brain dump, which is a must. And that's how you take care of your homes, your
Beautiful.
mind, your body. And you will feel better, and you will not be, disturbed in your emotions at that level as well.
Yes.
And that's how you will be able to justify all the tasks. At the same time, as you have made the categorization of
Yes.
immediate task and the task which needs thinking, whenever the time comes, you go and address the task in that particular time. And that's where, I call it as a IWT, which is intentional worry time.
Intentional worry time. Okay.
So
Very
that's,
nice.
you need to schedule that in a particular day. If you are not scheduling it, it is going to have a big time when you hit your bed.
Okay. So what is this intentional worry time, if you can say it in a sentence?
Yeah. So the intentional worry time is where you are giving your brain to worry better.
Acha. Okay.
And when you worry better, you will be better. Now how it is, you're giving your brain a signal by writing that tomorrow at this point of time I'm going to address all the things that I need to address, the open loops, the task which needs thinking and all that stuff. So you're scheduling all these things, so you're
Lovely.
intentionally doing that. Now what happens, we all know that our laptops, our mobile at times demands the software update. We all know that, right? And we keep putting it later.
Yes.
And at the right time, when you are in a meeting, or maybe when you are, when you need the most of that gadget,
Yeah.
that is going to pause you and take that software update
Totally.
and ask you to hang on till I. So So that's where the concept comes from, that when you are not giving your rest, when you are not resting properly, and when you are not
Give,
strategizing your
yes,
time intentionally, that's where when you hit the bed, when you are going for a rest, you will not be able to rest properly, because you,
beautiful.
those open loops are like those little children, and you did later giving a lollipop to them, and now they have finished the lollipop and they're
And
coming,
now they've come to you.
crying, mama now, look at myself, or that's an inner
Lovely.
child. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
that's, yeah, that IWD technique is, try once, because you will be able to address it in a very beautiful, healthy way, and able to
Beautiful.
renovate all your 4 homes.
Lovely, 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 Premsai. Thank you for that contribution. And here I would want to really tell the viewers who are listening, please make sure that you're writing stuff. Please make sure that you are having this IWP time. And, I would also,
IWT.
sorry,
IWT.
IWT, intentional worry time, IWT time. And please make sure that, you are following all these tips. Do not bother your working memory so much. So here, let me just read a few, comments that we have got from our listeners, from our viewers. Hema says, very well said. Mukta Sharma says, music helps me to get my sanity back and re-energize. Um, Dr. Poonam is saying hello to all. Mukta is again saying, working with earth, pottering in my garden helps me reconnect with my inner self and return with solutions for challenges I face. And Ranjita says, I used to do paintings to take breaks from my work. That made me relax. These are some such wonderful ideas that the audience is giving us, some of the ways by which we can rest, we can rejuvenate, and we can ensure that we are not working all day, and we have those, me times during the day, so that we can actually come back fast and, come back with full force, as Susan was talking about resilience some time ago.
And to add here, I think Mukta said it right, written with solutions.
Yeah.
That happens because when when your conscious is silent and your subconscious. So in our
Right.
NLP, we call it as that we all have the geniuses within us. So
Yes.
when you go to the rest mode, you, because I also sketch and paint. So whatever
Right.
that really gives you that inner peace, if you're doing that, your subconscious comes up with an answer. So I call it as a
Totally.
genie, jo genie, Aladdin ka chirag.
Yes,
So
Aladdin
it
ka
comes
chirag.
with an answer. You need to just allow for yourself and design that internal environment for yourself and make it happen.
Yes,
So that,
lovely. So we all have that solution driven mindset. All we have to do is to bring ourselves in that space and, really realign and bring that solution. Thank you, Prem Sai, for that. Deepti says, drawing mandalas is soothing to my head. So as we move to Susan, I would want to ask audience one more question, that what are some of the ways by which you ensure that you get clarity in your life? Like Prem Sai spoke about, writing those things and do not keeping that in your working memory. So please let us know in the chat section that what are some of the things that give you clarity. And Susan, we would want to know from you that, we are already doing so many things in the day, and we have, like when entrepreneurs are starting, that time they have product creation, they have to take care of so many systems and processes that need to be set, for them. So in such a scenario, how do we get time for networking? Because networking is itself an important skill. So would want to know from you that, one, how do we get time for networking? Two, why is it important to network, especially at an initial stage of your business? We would want to know that from you, Susan. And Dr. Poonam Upadhyay says, hey, Susan, being women entrepreneurs, what obstacles usually we face? We'll take this question in a moment, but I would let you answer this question. Yes.
Sure. So, so I'll come to the second question first, Nirupama.
Yes.
Why is networking important?
Yes.
Networking is probably the one time when a woman entrepreneur or a solo entrepreneur has a team.
Sure.
So that is because when you're working alone, you're all alone by yourself. You're struggling with things. Now, why is it important? Because when you have a right network, and that's something you need to build, right? So the right network is something you build. And when you have the right network, you will be able to rely on a lot more people than yourself.
Yes.
And typically in these sort of situations, in networking, and it's not a situation, it just has to be inbuilt in us. And for us human beings, it is an inbuilt characteristic. None of us are alone truly in any sense.
Sure.
Now, if you look at it from that perspective, then everybody other than myself is my network, right? So I heard this term a while ago, and it kind of stuck in my head,
Sure.
that networking, when you think of networking, think of frogs, right?
Okay.
So I was like, frogs. And then it was explained to me, your network is your friends, your relatives, others, and your groups. So
Right.
that's how simple it is, right? So
Right.
that's the frog that you
Who
need
are
to
your
be.
frogs?
Yeah, who are your frogs, and where does, how does networking relate into your frogs? So first of all, when you think of your network, think of your friends, right?
Right.
This is your first level of network. And we often think network is something very complicated. We need to go for
Right.
events, we need to go somewhere, but you really don't.
Okay.
Your WhatsApp group is your network. And now the next part is, of course, you have all these things, how do you cultivate it? And
Right.
you need to take care of it and cultivate it just like you would any other precious thing, right? You need to feed it, you need to water it, you need to prune it at times, and then you need to allow it to grow, right?
Yes.
So you feed it by giving something of yourself first. Unless you give, it is not going to bear fruit that you can take. So
Right.
you have to give something. Always when we think of network, people often think that, what can I get from this network? But when
Right.
you go to a network, look at what you can give to that network rather than what you can take from that network. The
Yes.
minute you start giving, automatically the taking comes back, because people are then giving to you. And in an Indian culture, we thought, don't go and ask for things, don't go and or approach people only when you need something. Have a friends network, always be available. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, we need to cross that bridge also. We need to be
Totally.
able to reach out and ask for help the way we need help, right? You need to be able to go to them and say that, hey, I have this problem. How do I solve it?
Resolve this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how do I resolve this? Do you know something that can help me? Now, it doesn't always have to be in a business context. It doesn't always have to be business that comes back to you. It need not translate into a sale. It need not translate into a business that you can take, you know. So you need to be able to, what do you say? When you go there, you need to be able to ask questions that bother you otherwise also, right? You
Even in
need to be,
personal life, even something to do with your kid, you
yeah,
know.
it could be with your children, it could be with a health issue that's happening in your house, it could be a business issue which doesn't translate into a tangible thing, right? It could be
Yes.
that, hey, I'm trying to create content on some particular topic, and I'm not sure how it will be received by people. Give me your
Yes.
opinion on it.
Give me your
And that's,
feedback. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that itself is one of the steps how you take into the network, right? Once you start getting into this networking kind of mode, you realize that it's not so difficult to ask. And especially for women, and I say this more because we women are more emotionally connected than we are professionally connected.
I
So
love the statement. Can you say that again?
so we are more emotionally connected than professionally connected, right? So
Yes.
everybody I meet in a professional network ultimately becomes a friend, right? So I have friends whom I'm able to rely on, and once they become friends, then there are no barriers. We are able to reach out to each other and say, I'm having a bad day, can I just offload on you? And we do it. And when you have such a network of women, it becomes a sisterhood,
Yes.
right? It becomes a sisterhood that you can rely on. But also, having said this, I also believe that, while you are busy in this mode of sisterhood and giving to everybody, don't forget that you can also ask,
Yes.
right? And how do you make time? Once you've created this network, you want to spend time in it. You want to be able to go in there, and once you genuinely start helping people and enjoy being part of a network, you're there for them. So you don't have to make time. The time gets created for this. You pick up the phone. If somebody calls you, you're available to pick up that call and to speak to them, because genuinely from deep within, you have a desire to help that person. Either because you would like to be part of that network, or ultimately somewhere that person is going to help you back. And
so that genuine connection is what you are trying to put out as far as networking is concerned, not
build
making
a
it too transactional.
Yeah, so let me just summarize it for you. So one is, make when you start off with any networking, start by giving, start by figuring out who is your network, build that network group. Don't be afraid to ask. So ask as much as you give, because sometimes otherwise you might land up not utilizing that network.
Yes.
Right? And we as women we are very conditioned. Like I said, we are very, very conditioned not to ask for things,
Yes.
not to appear to be seeking help anywhere.
Yes.
And that is I think that's something we need to reconfigure within ourselves, and be okay
Totally.
to ask for help as much as to give help.
Asking is okay. So that's something that we are taking from you, Susan, in this discussion. Thank you. Aruna VN says, well said, Susan. Dr. Poonam Upadhyay, we'll be taking your question towards the end. We have a complete Q&A part, because I would want to call my panel too, so that we can really take some of your questions out there. So Susan would be answering Dr. Poonam's question towards the end. In the meantime, please let us know that in the chat section, how do you really network? Who are the people that you network with? Please let us know in the chat section as I call my next panel, and we're going to start with the second part of our panel discussion, which is business skills for women entrepreneurs. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Premsai. We are going to have you in a short period of time, and we'll ask you to stay for a bit, because we would want you to just enjoy with us, on with some good music and have some good fun. So let me just bring one more song, which is an old one, but one of the numbers that we all like. Here we go. And let's start.
किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे हो निसार, किसी का दर्द मिल सके तो ले उधार, किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार, जीना इसी का नाम है, किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे हो निसार, किसी का दर्द मिल सके तो ले उधार, किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार, जीना इसी का नाम है,
जीना इसी का नाम है. Thank you so much. And thank you, Premsai. Thank you, Susan. We'll call you in a short bit for our Q&A. And Aruna says that I am networking through the networking communities. Wonderful. So people, could you talk about some of the networking communities in the chat section, so that, it will be good for the audience and we all could gain some knowledge from that. And I'm going to be calling Raina and Kirti for the next part of the discussion. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Premsai. We'll have you in some time. Awesome. So Raina, we would want to know from you a little bit about yourself. We would want to know a little bit about what you bring to the table, so that the audience out there can know who Raina is.
Thank you very much, Nirupama. I think this is a fantastic show. It's a pleasure to be here. And a little about me, I'm so overwhelmed with listening to what the crowd is saying, what the viewers are saying, and our esteemed speakers, because everybody brings a lot on the table. But yes, for the viewers, I, Dr. Raina Khatri Tandon, founder, CEO, Right to Rise, and two-time TEDx speaker, somebody who unveils the safety element of culture and culture-driven societies by being specialist in True Posh, FOXO, human rights, stress, and helping SMEs to excel to the next state of level. So that's a little about.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
And we are looking forward to all the learnings from you, Raina, in this panel. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So now we bring our second panelist, Kirti, we would want to know a little bit about you.
Hi, thank you so much firstly for inviting all of us. It's a wonderful panel. Kudos to your efforts. So, hello everyone. My name is Kirti Sharma. I am an SEL educator and founder of Sai Within. This name basically means to see within oneself through the beauty of psychology. I have served more than 20,000 clients till date,
Wow.
and few of them being Amity University, DPS, the Harjail, Kotak Life, Dalsa, government schools, and several NGOs. I truly believe in the power of preventive mental health care, which I strive to work towards, and I do it through trainings and awareness sessions. I
Wonderful.
combine my academic knowledge of MBA and MA psychology to simplify these complex concepts of psychology. And I wish to continue serving the population till I'm alive. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. We are actually wanting to hear from this wonderful combination of MBA and psychology, because our next panel theme is business skills. And we would really want to know from you, some of those business skills, that could empower our audience. Between Satya Huda says this song is the very essence of spiritual life. Indeed. So all the songs are the songs that have been chosen by our panelists, and they are some of their favorite numbers. Thank you, Satya, for that. And in the meantime, please let us know what is that one business skill that you would want to talk, that you would want us to talk about, till we ask some questions from Kirti and Raina. So please let us know in the chat section that which business skill would you want us to discuss in the panel today. Awesome. So Raina, my first question to you is that, when we are looking at starting a business, and especially as a solopreneur, especially as somebody, who was once at a job or maybe a homemaker. So what are some of the skills that we require at the initial level, when we are starting off our business? What would be those initial business skills, if you could talk about that? Yes.
I'll start with this one line. I think the most important and the essence of a woman to stand up today is the most alluring skill that a woman can have is her confidence. No matter where you are, no matter where you start, the first thing that you need is a smile and confidence that, yes, I'm going to go on. It might sound very funny, but I just saw this little cartoon yesterday with my 15-year-old, and me and he were thinking, why are we seeing a cartoon? Because we didn't really want to see everything that we see on OTT and Netflix all the time. Okay, and watching that cartoon for a period of probably 1 hour, there were two things that came out very, very broadly: faith and confidence. If you have the faith to move on, you'll have the confidence to keep moving. All you need to do is walk, 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 and keep walking till you don't hit success. The first skill as a woman entrepreneur, as I was hearing Kirti, it was so much a state of surprise to me that another thing that bonds us all together is she holds 2 masters or 2 PhDs, and I'm also coming from the same space. Okay, and transitioning from IT to complete into a legal space of human rights and trying to connect with humans per se, where we've already heard our co-panelists speak about emotions, connect, and the song which just played, which spoke about the essence. And that's why I always choose it, because it's not about what we achieve. It's not about what we've not done. It's always about the journey on the top. And the first step to that is people judge you on what's called fit you. So the first skill is fit you. Do you fit in the society? Do you fit in the corporate? Do you fit in the culture? Do you fit in people who you want to be? It can be a comfort fit. It can be a corporate fit. It can be, do you carry that value fit? Or are you the person who I see you on screen or in physical presence in whatever role you
play?
So I always say it's not fit you, it is fit by. And I fit by everything that I walk the talk, and I need to be there, stand by whatever I feel is what I believe. So today we might, I think when I started my training journey, transitioning from a corporate career and holding a 7 numbered salary, and I said, no, I want to step into entrepreneurship, and got into training, coaching, mentoring, and now narrowed down into entrepreneurship. I said, what is that I really want? And the first thing that came up was purpose.
Okay.
But when we say fit you, we also need to stand by whatever we say in whatever we do, and that becomes purposeful towards what we are delivering.
Okay.
Not that you just do what you're doing because people are doing, but you also look up as an entrepreneur and be seen the same way. So if people need to see you that, you need to actually do it.
Yes.
And as you do it, you keep on working towards it, and you become fit.
Lovely.
So that's one skill that I always
So once
say.
you do, you
with
become
your
fit. It's not like
confidence.
once you become fit, then you do.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
So that's the crux of the first skill that you need to do. Of course, there'll be other skills on the purpose. So we'll go through them one by one. But the most important skill I would still say, adding to that, is FNF, what I said, that you believe in what you're doing, and always stick to what as one essence that you carry as a USP and work by
Totally.
it. So that's your first business skill. Of course, whatever I have said carries what we want to show, but yeah, this is the first skill. I will probably talk about the other skills
Sure.
as we speak, because I'd also allow my
Thank you.
co-panelists to
Thank
talk.
you, Raina, for taking care of time and for bringing out so beautifully, leading by purpose and not what you fit into, but what you fit by. Thank you so much for bringing that clarification for all our viewers. Viewers, we would want to know from you that what are the business skills that you would want to upskill yourself in? As I ask the next question to Kirti. Kirti, I would want to know from you that, so many times it happens that whenever we are starting a business, we have very limited resources. We would want to do everything in the world, but we talk about something known as doing best out of the waste. Doing I mean, that's where the creativity comes in. So I would want to ask you that how do we bring those creative solutions while being flexible in our approach? So if you can throw some light there, Kirti.
Right. Thanks for the question. And I think it's a beautiful one because this is something we all go through
Right.
at any given point of time. Now, practically speaking, hardly a very minuscule of the population would have it all what it takes to start something new. We're calling it entrepreneurial journey, but to start any project which is very new, not done before, hardly anybody would have everything, right? So for the majority of us, it is basically learning on the go.
Yes.
We need to combine both our hard skills as well as our soft skills. Now, talking of creativity and flexibility, these are two contributing factors to this journey, I would say.
Right.
Like very beautifully said, that it is a journey. It is not a goal which we have to achieve.
Yes.
It is an ongoing journey. Our benchmarks will change. Our references will change. We will grow as a person. Now, when we're talking about creativity, flexibility, or adaptability, as we may call it, these are things which come to humans very naturally.
Right.
These are things which are innate. So these are something which need to be nurtured over time. The question comes, do we think that only children have these qualities? Or do we think only children are creative? The answer is no.
Right.
Even adults are. There's a concept called neuroplasticity, which says that even adults can learn and relearn. Now here, relearning is more important than learning because usually we focus on only learning new things. We should also focus on letting go of things which are not
serving us,
which are now obsolete.
Yes,
which are not serving us, and then changing it into something which is important to us.
Right.
So when we're talking about the resources, we really have to review what we have, appreciate it, value it, and then use it.
Yes.
India is full of jugaad mindset. Where did that come from? We all have this creativity within us. With the limited resources which we have, we try to figure out new ways of coming up with solutions. So the point here, which I would like to highlight what Dr. Raina also said, is to walk the path, to be very, transparent in what we are doing.
Right.
So we really need to stand in front of the mirror and see the real us without the filters. without telling ourselves, hey, I know it all. Hey, I don't need help. Hey, I know XYZ things. I don't want to learn. I have done this master's degree or XYZ, whatever trainings.
Right.
I don't need to learn
Right.
more. That is a filter we need to throw away
Beautiful.
right now. So when we're talking about how do we, rekindle these qualities, how should these qualities come in the forefront? Simple way is to be like a kid by observing, by taking a step back, by questioning things, by enabling critical listening also. We talk about critical thinking, but critical listening is also
What is
something we
that,
should practice.
Kirti? Critical listening. Viewers would want to know that.
So basically, we take in information from all our five senses
Yes.
and we process them.
Right.
When we are thinking, I'm talking about critical listening then. When we are listening to someone, first is hearing. First, we have to differentiate what hearing is and what listening
Yes.
is. Hearing is basically, I am hearing what is going around in my environment, right? Listening is when I'm paying attention to something. And if I'm talking about a client or a human being, when I'm listening, reading between the lines, that is listening. And critical listening would be when I'm parallelly thinking, when I'm parallelly questioning, when I'm parallelly, challenging what is being said, what I'm hearing, what I'm listening.
Sure.
So that would be critical listening. It's a little technical than basic listening.
Right.
And what that does is it sort of creates filters, what we are putting inside our mind. So that also helps us to process the information and whatever we're taking in a proper manner.
Right.
And another way of putting these qualities to forefront is basically challenging what is going on.
Right.
Like I heard someone use the analogy of frog, but it reminds me of another story where we're talking about frogs. Like, right? So things are going on for years and years, and we have stopped questioning them because nobody is questioning them.
Yes.
So we need to really challenge few things which are going on. Now, I would like to share a very small example before we run out of time. When we're talking about creativity and flexibility, one of my field was Tihar Jail. And before joining that, I was into photography,
Sure.
a beautiful art form which I absolutely love. And that taught me a lot of life skills.
Totally.
And the learnings which I got from there, I try to adapt it there on the field. So Tihar Jail was the field where I worked in jail number 5, which is for male inmates, which is 18 to 21-year-old inmates.
Okay.
Now, one of the students there, he was a very, very shy student. We used to call them
Yes.
students and not inmates. One of the students was very, very shy. He did not interact with anybody. He did not participate in the class. And we had reports about him not participating in anything. So that was the question for us, that is he doing mentally well or not? Because we had to take care of how they're dealing inside jail
Yes.
also. Now, when I used to interact with him, somewhere, the story came up that his father was a bus conductor.
Okay.
And he used to look up to him and he wanted to become a bus conductor. So one fine day we did a role play and we asked him to imitate his father. And he was so excited and he memorized the entire, all the stops, like, we are going here, we're going here,
Wow.
these are ticket prices, all of that. And suddenly his, face lit up and he was a completely different person altogether.
Lovely.
So we saw him getting converted from a shy person to a completely confident person.
Wow.
And that was a small breakthrough moment for him.
Right.
And how he developed into something. Now, this is a very small example as to how we are using the resources which we have.
Right.
And, a simple board game of snakes and ladders. We did a floor game of snakes and ladders. It was essentially, this snakes and ladder was created in India, essentially to make us understand about the goods and the bads of the world. Converted into something where we used, analogies of drugs, morality, ethics, teachers, gurus, and all of those things. And that helped us really instill life skills into those students. So
Beautiful.
it was basically how we should use the resources we have right now. So we can all do
Lovely.
that.
Amazing story of that Tihar jail inmate and snake and ladders example. I mean, we all have those resources, just we need to be a little bit more alert with what we have and create the best solutions out of that. Thank you, Kirti. So, Dr. Raina, my next question to you is, when you would have started your entrepreneurial journey, at that moment, the kind of skills that you required were much different from now when you are actually running 3 verticals. So we would want to know from you that what are some of the skills that a person would require at a later stage? I think Dr. Raina dropped off. So Kirti, I would be asking you the next question out here. So, now we've spoken about creativity. We have spoken about, how do we become flexible in our solutions. So I would want to know from you that, whatever skills we require in our employment journey may not be the same skills that we require in our entrepreneurial journey. And you stressed on this point of, relearning, rather than, and sometimes we not only have to relearn, we also have to unlearn things. So I would want to know from you that as we are moving in our entrepreneurial journey, how much are we expected to learn, and how do we really, keep weaving that learning mindset within us? If you could talk a little bit about that.
Right. I think this again is a very important topic for both students as well as adults. Like
Yes.
I would like to highlight the point of neuroplasticity once again. It's all about creating new connections,
Right.
in our mind. And this is actually a proven research-based term that I'm using.
Right.
So this is, we have to learn, relearn, and unlearn things.
Right.
And especially when we're talking about the entrepreneurial journey, here it is all the more required. Now,
Right.
when we look at India, for example, the socio-economic environment has changed drastically.
Right.
If you look at how generations have changed, earlier they were more inclined towards winning, bread, butter, and home, basically.
Right.
And the
Right.
next generation were more into creating a secure environment, secure job, gaining government jobs. And then we looked into their next generation, which aimed at corporate jobs or having private jobs.
Right.
And now the generation which we have right now is more towards startups and entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Something is changing. Now, from employment to entrepreneurship, we can see that compass changing.
Totally.
One factor which I think is contributing towards this is how the schooling system is changing.
Yes.
Now, schooling system is actually the foundational years which have shaped all of us. At least when I was in school, I remember how the schooling system was. It was basically following instructions, memorizing, and spitting on the paper, being afraid to fail. It was more of competition over collaboration. All of those things were happening, right?
Yes.
But the good part is things are changing now. Now, when we see at schools, how their thinking is also changing, how the shift is happening. They have included entrepreneurship as a subject in school. Now,
Yes.
imagine these students growing up 10 years, 15 years from now and giving competition to almost everyone, internationally also. I'm really
Yes.
thrilled to see that stage of life. Now,
Absolutely.
I think earlier we were putting everybody in molds. We were expecting them to be non-questioning employees. Just do as I say.
Follow as I say. Yes.
Follow as I say. Just do it. That part is required. By the way, I would not say that part is not required, but not always. Some of them bounced back to call it freedom, which was entrepreneurship, because that was a complete shift of mindset. Like if you suppress somebody so much, then they will bounce back to another level of freedom.
Yes.
Right?
It's like that rubber band, आपने पीछे
Correct.
जितना खींचा उतना ही वो आगे जाएगा.
Yes, correct. But having said that, I don't mean that regular employment is bad.
Yes,
This,
absolutely.
This space comes with choices and privilege. It should not be forced upon decision कि हमें
Each to its own,
entrepreneurship करनी है just because everyone is doing it.
Right.
And when we're talking about the schools changing, simple changes like marking the paper with green pen instead of a red pen. And when we're going to corporate levels, when we identify an employee which is not performing properly, providing him or her with proper trainings instead of dragging the employees to work towards the goal. These small subtle changes are happening. So let's be hopeful and positive towards how the shifts are happening. Now, when we're talking about the subject being introduced in school, that is something which is very exciting because this will create foundation for these students. The
Absolutely.
importance of teaching entrepreneurship in subject is phenomenal, both at personal and professional level.
Yes.
Right? So it will definitely give power to creativity, critical thinking, develop a growth mindset.
Critical listening, let's not forget that.
Yes, critical listening, being adaptable, resilient, and taking calculative risks in life,
Beautiful.
both personal and professional. So I think these shifts are happening, and let's be hopeful and let's encourage our students and children to,
Yes.
build themselves like this.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that insight. So Raina, before we lost you, we were asking you this question that, at one stage when you started out, in your career after taking that shift from your corporate job, you required very different set of skills. And now that you are already heading 3 verticals, and also empowering so many communities, I would want to know from you that when a business has reached a certain stage, what are the set of skills do we require at that stage, especially when we are looking at B2B space, or we are looking at let's say corporates or institutions as our clients. So what would be the skills that would be required there, if you could talk about that?
Okay, so interestingly, as Kirti was speaking, a lot of things came up to me when I was also very young. And since my boy is also hitting the 15 and 16,
Yeah.
I see similar kind of things happening in his peerhood.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so his friends, his fraternity, all of them are very different.
Right.
And as these guys are growing, I said the skills that first need as an entrepreneur will be fit you, and then there were skills like time management, managing people, trying to put yourself in their shoes. So that's where you have empathy, trying to understand each and every aspect of how resilience can set in, because the first urge is people should listen to me.
Yes.
Why should I listen to
Yes.
people? Okay, it's all about when you have nowadays people, whether it's in corporate space or in a talk or in any of the panel discussions with youth, it becomes very important that their voice is heard.
Right.
So they first want to put out their views rather than being listened to.
Right.
And at our space, we say listening is very important as a skill. Whether, and very aptly said, she said critical listening and a very deep thought of listening. I came up with this term of co-meditation.
Okay.
As I was listening to her. It's been 1 week back where this new coined work called co-meditation is there, where the meditation is not between two people. The meditation is with you and the space that you hold.
Okay.
Okay, where you are trying to be comfortable in who as a person are you and what is that you hold as core value systems. The core of you, the core of your existence, why are you doing what you're doing, and why are you not able to align with either a person of your age or a person above you or below you.
Right.
So that itself allows you to empathize, time management, people management, resilience, and the very two important aspects for being an entrepreneur is aptitude for learning.
Okay.
We have the skill of learning even today.
Yes.
That's why we do PhDs and masters and all that even at age of 40, 50, 60.
Hunger for learning also.
Yes, but in today's entrepreneurs, they all just want to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
The first thing they step out is, oh, I'm going to do my own business. There is the fifth important skill was adaptability and approach. That's zero.
Right.
So as we grow, one important area that we need to focus as we grow is that after we have evolved setting up all these initial skills, time management, people management, fitting you, aptitude for learning, hunger for learning, resilience, approachability, adaptability, these are already set in a period of 1 year, because by then you are already scrutinized in this open world.
Yes.
By then you already know what the world is about. By then you are those strong women. I'm talking about women per se because we work a lot with women and children.
Yes.
So strong women, I say they have judgmental sexes, and I always say it's not an attitude, it is a standard that a lady sets. She would like to perform the way she wants, and that's the standard. The same way, an entrepreneur should set a standard, whether it's male or female, whether it's child or man, whether it is any gender, they should set a standard. And this standard should be worked along with your vision, with your purpose, with your growth, with also a lot of things that you'd like to do overall.
Right.
So as you grow, a standard of growth, what is your expectation for your need audience? What is the nature that you'd like to grow with? Networking is a skill. I say networking is also something that we need to learn. Networking is just not making friends.
Right.
Networking is very structured. When you go to meet somebody, you need to know why are you meeting that somebody?
Okay.
What is the kind of time that you're working with? What is the expectations you bring to the table? Whether it's ask or give, I'm not coming to that, because otherwise you're just there to make friends or to waste time.
Yes, and it's not going to serve you.
Let's be very, very clear
Yes.
there. You are actually not there to waste time, because as a woman entrepreneur or a woopreneur or a fempreneur or whatever you call, you have not one duty to play. You have duty to take care of your personal space, spiritual space, financial space, dedication to social work. If you want to do something like building up more setups, that your own entity, your own trust, your own social skills, and which market you want to cater to. So it has to be with a clear written format. What am I doing with this person? What is the time I'm going to look at? If it is this time, what do I need? Where do I need? How are we progressing? What is the agenda of the meeting? What is the ROI I'm looking at? And what is that one thing that I'd like to close before I step out of the meeting?
Beautiful.
If you don't have this written, if you don't have this in your mind, then you're not there for business. Let's understand that.
Very wonderful points that you mentioned. In fact, I would want all of you to actually watch the recording and make sure that you note down all these points when you're going for the next networking meeting. Because if you're not clear about that, if you're not clear about the end in mind, you will just go there and, like Raina said, you'll be wasting your time that way.
Absolutely. So you have umpteen number of networking spaces. When we say that, we are there for a purpose, our purpose is also very judgmental. Okay. We need to be very clear. Is it a paid? Is it an unpaid? Why am I doing it? What is the target audience? How is that helping me? Okay. What is the kind of growth I'm looking at? Am I growing to reach the global level? Am I going to reach the national level? Am I looking at collaborations? So all these will give you a clear understanding what is the kind of work you want to do in the long run, because you don't want to burn out just be doing 3 sessions, whether it is professionally or personally or socially.
Lovely.
Okay, you don't want to burn out. At the same time, you should be also balanced with your personal space. You can't be just going out and being all the time out and not looking at the personal front, even if you have the 100 of maids in your house.
Absolutely. You got to be doing what others cannot do.
Thirdly, as we grow, we mature, our vision matures, our goals mature. Whatever we wanted to do when we are a single entrepreneur or 1 year to entrepreneurship will be very different after 1 year. Okay, so you will have your drops, you will have your falls, you will again have to rise. What works that time will not work today. You might be the best and the first number 1 person in your space, but you will fall. And it's good to fall because you still need to rise higher.
Right.
Okay, so allow yourself to sleep in that you will fail.
And it's okay to fail.
Do not always be, don't always think that you're going to be a high flyer and always on the top. You will fail, you will drop. It's okay to drop. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to come to people like Sai Within. It's okay to come to Nirupama. It's okay to tell them, hey, I am a high flyer, but I still have a space that I'd like to share. And I'm sure I will go past it. You will.
Yes.
For sure.
Totally.
Okay. And once you go past it and you have people, again, you need to rebuild on something. I'm sure we will be soon there where we want to reach. So this also, vulnerability, people don't speak of it. And the restructuring of you to bounce back, also people don't speak of it when you are over and above 2 years, 3 years to one entrepreneur journey. Whether you build different setups is not the concern, but you rebuilding for life and growing to life is what is important.
Amazing.
So these are some of the skills, but I can endlessly talk about the number of skills that you want to grow and keep growing. But I think together we can stand as a team. Single-handedly, it becomes difficult, even if today you stand as a single entrepreneur. And keep your legs on the ground, even if you're high
Be
flyers.
grounded, yes.
So you might be an eagle in the sky, but still you need a crowd to be with. So a wise woman will have a mature understanding, a pure soul, and an eye for business for what she is. Stand up for yourself, never look down on somebody, because every small person will be of great value to you during your journey.
Beautiful. You have actually nailed it, with this one sentence. Love it. Mukta
Yeah.
Sharma says, Dr. Raina, good to hear you again. Co-meditate, a very interesting concept. Thank you. So for all of those who are listening, I would want to call the other panelists right now, and we are going to have a little bit of reflection on what we learned today. So let me just ask Susan. Susan, what is that one reflection that you got from today's session? You've been listening to the other panelists. What is that one thing that you're taking from here in a sentence?
Both in one thing, but yes, I'm taking away so many different things: adaptability, resilience. I'm taking away on how to, take care of your four homes, which I had never heard of before. But yes, so many different things.
Lovely, lovely. So audience, we would also want to know from you that what is it that you are taking away, so that we can know from you that what is it that was of value to you from today's session. So please put it in the chat section. As we asked from Premsai. Premsai, what has been your takeaway from today?
I think which I'm doing already, and then even more I would like to do of networking, and a lot from Rena's talk as well, and from Kirti's, and a bit of from everybody. So yeah, majorly networking.
Networking is your
Networking
takeaway.
more and at different levels and all that. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. What about you, Kirti? What do you reflect?
I appreciate everyone's content here, but I would like to, give you the credit, Nirupama, for bringing all of us together and really highlighting the
Thank you.
overlaps. And I think I'm taking away today from you how you have basically, married all the concepts and how you came up with such a beautiful discussion today. I'm taking away the term right to rise, which I absolutely love. We all have that power to actually come up again. So that's really nice.
Lovely, lovely. Dr. Raina, we would want to know from you, what is it that you are taking away from here?
So I was a little surprised, but I was happy that the company's name Right to Rise, which shines as my company's name was at Kirti's statement. But let me tell you, we never learn from one person,
Yes.
Nirupama. It's always about the collective learning as a crowd and as a core team today that we have emerged. I think this is one of the most strongest panels that we've ever had. So I'd not want to make myself feel smaller by saying I've taken something from you, something. But today I have actually noted down a lot of points from all
Wonderful.
five of us, and I'm really in awe of each one of us here, because each one of us are very unique in our
Totally.
skills, unexpectedly come from various platforms, and a lot of good things which Prem, Sai, Susan, Kirti, and you have shared. So I'm too overwhelmed to even mention one of them. But yes, a lot of learnings to take
I
away.
think it's a
Thank you so
beautiful
much for having
ecosystem
me.
that has been created, and the learnings are intermingling. I mean,
Yeah.
with the common intention to serve. Awesome. So we have this brand ritual that towards the end we end the show with your favorite one-liner, and we would want to know your favorite one-liners so that we can end this show on the same note. What is your favorite one-liner?
Mine is in Hindi. तू जवाबदार बन खुद का और खुदा का. In English, it roughly translates to you should be answerable to yourself and the Almighty. So be transparent, reflect, and keep moving.
Awesome. Thank you, Kirti. Yes, over to you, Premsai.
Yeah, my one-liner is always a one-liner to my YouTube videos as well. Your life is significant.
Your life is significant. Absolutely, your life is significant. Yes, Raina, Dr. Raina.
A woman with voice, be your definition, a strong woman forever.
Awesome.
We believe you will rise to rise.
You will rise to rise. Absolutely, you will rise to rise. And Susan, one final one-liner from you.
One liner from me is not my own, it's borrowed from a great person. This is from Mahatma Gandhi, where he says, strength does not come from physical ability, but from an indomitable will.
Wow, that's such a wonderful way, and that will is what is going to take us forward. Thank you for saying that. Awesome. So for all of those who are listening, I would really want to thank you, and we're going to end this on a beautiful music note, as we end it always. But before that, I want to tell you, next week we are coming up with another round of Sambhav Talks, and there we talk about how well-being impacts your business growth. So stay tuned for next Saturday, same time, and we will be there to serve you all over again. So let's bring in some music, and we are going to be here to end this show with some music and have some good fun. Awesome. All right, here we go. Yes, just give me a moment. Here we bring the music, and yes.
Smiles, I know what it takes to fool this town. I'll do it till the sun goes down and all through the night time.
And I would want to know from all of you, what have been your biggest takeaways? Please let us know in the chat section.
Keep my sunglasses on while I shed a tear. It's never the right time. Yeah. I put my armor on so you are strong I am. I put my armor on, I show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm a Persia with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries today. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today.
Thank you, everyone. And yes, you are unstoppable. All you have to do is to just believe that and keep marching ahead. We'll see you next week. Till then, take care. Bye-bye. And sending you loads and loads of love. Take care.